We are back with another chapter of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. And this was a chapter. Honestly, I have a lot of mixed feelings with this chapter and how things are being structured and progressed with this arc right now. And it's really hitting me at this point. Now, was there stuff I loved in this chapter and liked? Yes, absolutely. But my problems mostly come from the structuring and how things are being done right now, and it feels like Mashima's kind of not having much focus at this point in the story with this arc, and I'm gonna bring that up as we get to specific sections of this chapter. So look forward to that. But before we jump into things, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Also, if you haven't already, go and check out my second channel, GW Comics, where I talk about American comic books. I am getting some stuff ready to release at the end of August, early September, mainly around Superman, the Massive Verse from Image Comics, and a bunch of stuff revolving around Absolute DC Comics. There's a lot of stuff I have planned for that I want to do, so look forward to that. Also, as a big reminder, in case I didn't mention it before, I am going to be away during the next release of the Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest chapter, so there will not be a chapter review for me in 2 weeks' time, because I will be on vacation. So when I come back from vacation, I will most likely do a double whammy chapter review, because by the time I come back, chapter 192 will be out, so I'll do both those chapters at once. That way we can go over everything that happened over the past couple chapters, and then we'll talk about them all at once in quick succession, so you guys don't lose a video. I do plan to have a video, at least one video out while I'm gone, but I'll let you know how that goes. With all that out of the way, let's just get right into chapter 190 of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, titled, For Those We Hold Dear. Cover image is Misfortune, normal, and dragonized. What is her dragon form? I feel like this is a pun of some sort. It'd be hilarious if Misfortune just ends up undoing her flames and she just has like a dragon-looking tail or paw or whatever. I don't know. It'd be interesting if she just wasn't effective. But we continue from last chapter where Gajeel hit Zero square in the chest with an iron dragon club, with Zero's response to this saying, "And here you had the potential to be an Irration," which shows that he did keep an eye out on potential replacements for the Irration Sace, especially during legal guilds, especially with Phantom Lord. Honestly, with how shady Jose was, I wouldn't be surprised if he did shady dealings with Irration Sace, considering that he had forbidden magic and all that stuff, and how messed up Jose was. So I don't hold it past him, especially to like, but he probably would have given Gajeel to Zero, or Zero probably would have gotten his hands on Gajeel if Makarov didn't get to him first or whatever. That'd be interesting to see. But yeah, Gajeel's response, yeah, no, I wouldn't team up with that right guy and that pervy chick, referring to Richard and Sorano, which, funny how he refers to both of them in just these very broad ways, considering that I don't even think he ever really met these guys. I think he only met Cobra. So yeah, that is interesting to say the least. Zero goes to land a punch on Gajeel, but he blocks it, and Gajeel hits Zero square in the face with a left hook, with him saying, "I ain't a fan of Salamander, but there's someone I care about a heck of a lot more than I dislike him," as we get a flash of Levy. I love the constant moments where just Gajeel is just being like husband, dad mode. I like it. It's very wholesome. He then launches an Iron Dragon Demon Sword at Zero, which he manages to dodge out of the way, as he calls out Zero for not having anyone he truly cares about like that, and that it's really, really sad. But when Zero gets up, he says, "Oh no, I do care for something." Destruction, as he lets out a huge blast of magic power, pushing Gajeel back, as Zero's basically having a manic episode, more or less, just going absolutely crazy, saying, you got a swelled head, kid. Who do you think I am? I'm the one who's gonna turn everything to nothing." Zero, as he pushes Gajeel back again, with Gajeel reclaiming his balance and getting back up, wondering how Natsu beat this guy in the first place. So, instantly Zero is giving Gajeel a fight, so that I'm happy with. I don't want Gajeel to have an easy fight. This will show that some of these characters will have varying degrees of strength, so that's good. And if Zero is set up to be the strongest out of these 6 demons, I am very happy that he's not getting instantly beat by Gajeel. And while you would think that we would get to another fight with one of the other Irrational Sex members in Team Fairy Tail B, or keep with Gajeel, we then cut back to Team Natsu, as we continue from his declaration from last chapter, as he calls everybody fake dragons and that he's going to kick their butts. Natsu lunges forward towards Fire and Flame, decking Wed in the face, does a downward spin kick on Lekka's face, then elbows Raj in the head, with Lucy and Gray just telling him that he's going in all alone. Also, apparently, Lucy went Virgo form off screen. So that happened, I guess. But it's then that the Signario sisters begin to charge Natsu. But Natsu notices them and then point blanks a Fire Dragon Roar attack right at the two of them, burning them up and knocking them back. But as they're engulfed in Natsu's flames, they use what I think is alchemy, reshaping and controlling Natsu's fire, throwing it back at him, and putting him in a seal, literally locking him up and controlling his movements, keeping him locked in place. So now he can't move, he's restrained. So now they plan to finish him off, but it's then Erza and Gray save the day, hitting the two of them, knocking them back, as with their focus loosened, the restraints on Natsu are destroyed, with Natsu thanking them and Lucy literally lecturing him on going in all alone and rushing in. Now, this really quick, I want to say, I was kind of not hoping Natsu would do, go hog wild and take on all 5 members of Fire and Flame at once. He tried that. It shows that he was literally pushing them for a second, which I kind of believe. He is the strongest member of their team, and it didn't make sense that these characters would not be super on par with Natsu, but I kind of hoped that he wouldn't go off all alone. Though I will say, I do like that the Signario sisters did use Natsu's own fire against him to lock him in place, because Natsu can't eat his flames, and him being locked in place due to a reorganization of his own powers makes sense to actually keep him from doing anything. So if Erza and Gray didn't step in what they did, they probably would have been able to do some significant damage, or at least some damage, to Natsu. So it shows that, Natsu can be caught off guard with strategy. So that part I did like. It's then that Natsu, being called up by Wendy, notices Raj and Lekka trying to jump him from behind. And when Natsu's getting ready to do a counterattack, Erza and Gray jump in, slashing and blasting both of them with their signature attacks. Erza in her Sea Empress armor, and Gray using a longsword of Ice Demon Zero. The same attack he did against Raj when he jumped them earlier in the arc. So really cool, as now we got these two characters pushing back other members of Fire and Flame. It's then that Wed tries to punch Natsu, but Natsu catches it with one hand, as he's pretty easily holding back Wed, as Wed is incredibly angry, saying, why do you dare call us fake dragons? Because Natsu just said, you ain't dragons, right? With Erza asking Fire and Flame what's their reason for fighting, with Wed just going out and saying to make a dragons only world, humans should just go extinct, with Natsu saying, that's why you're fake, as with a straight and serious face says, real dragons are kind. They don't hurt people, which is just full-on shock to all the members of Fire and Flame, but this just pisses off Wed more, as he just tells Natsu to be quiet. But Natsu, not budging an inch, seemingly not showing any effort against Wed, says, I'll tell you why we fight. It ain't for humanity, for the world, or peace, or anything like that, as he pushes Wed's fist back slowly, as he then launches a right hook on Wed, knocking him back, saying, it's for our friends, for our survival, as that ends the chapter. Now, again, I'm very mixed on this chapter and how this arc is going right now. For one, the pacing feels all over the place. For the last batch of chapters, while we did cut back to Natsu and pals, essentially, we focused a bit and a lot on the Irrational Seis versus the Irrational Sext, and Team B showing up and Juvia taking on Gate. So I was kind of hoping we would focus more on Team B fighting the demons, but a brief interaction with Gajeel and Zero, we cut back to Team A, essentially, fighting against Fire and Flame, and Natsu basically went hog wild, pushed them back for a bit. Obviously makes sense, he's the strongest character in the group at this point, but still, it kind of feels a bit, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, just not very satisfying at this point, because I was afraid he was actually going to push them all back. He did, but like at least the Signario sisters found a way to kind of keep him in check and allowed Gray and Erza to jump in and make the save. And now it seems that we're going to get the 1v1s again for the time being. I just don't like how Lucy and Wendy were just doing nothing this entire chapter, and we're basically just watching from the sidelines and just shouting at Natsu to get out of the way or to look out. They did nothing this chapter. They haven't really done anything so far, and it's kind of disappointing, considering it's a 5v5, perfectly matched, but I don't know. Cutting back and forth is just a very weird pacing thing, because I would have just liked for us to deal with everything going on with Alderaan and the fights on Alderaan before cutting back to Team A to make that the conclusion to this section of the story. Last chapter was basically a catch-up with everything that was going on and a reminder, oh, Ferris is doing her stuff, Team A is doing their stuff, Gajeel's about to fight Zero. And this chapter just teased us with Zero versus Gajeel for like 4 or 5 pages, essentially. Meanwhile, we got the rest being Team A, Natsu giving his usual spiel about friends and his family, protecting them. And honestly, it is nice having full concrete reasons as to why Natsu fights anybody. It's for his, like, fairy tale number 1, doesn't care about the world, humanity, or whatever. There's that. And also him saying the same thing that he said to Acnologia about dragons being kind. That does fit Natsu's character and his experience with, you know, Igneal and the Dragon Slayers with their dragon parents. And that's why he's calling them fakes, because they want to destroy the whole world, making it only dragons that reign and all that stuff. And it just feels kind of clunky, and it feels like we're jam-packing too much in these chapters while also going at a breakneck pace. And I'm like, I don't know what Mashima's doing right now. I don't know how he's writing this, because like he's only working on 100 Years Quest and Deadrock, so I feel like from what the last year was like since Eden Zero ended with this arc's beginning, it just felt like we were like starting to do something really cool, and I was hyped for a lot of the stuff that was going on in this arc. I've had my criticisms, but overall I've had a lot of fun and things were building up. But it just feels like now, since Team B showed up, the pacing just got super weird and all over the place, and I don't know how things are gonna be satisfying at this point, and we still have no idea what's going on with Ignia for like months, since like back in November when he just dipped to go check on some weird power source that he felt out of nowhere. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. It just feels off to me. If you're enjoying this, that's great. I liked this chapter for the bit of action and Gajeel moments and all that stuff, and Natsu showcasing that he's the strongest person in the room. But still, a lot of it just doesn't feel too satisfying, and it just feels kind of wonky and all over the place. So we'll see. Maybe Mashima will pivot back, but with this just being 2 locations, technically 4 if you count Ferris and Ignia, I just want Mashima just focus on one location for another group of chapters, have at least the Alderaan section be finished, because otherwise a lot of stuff's probably going to happen off screen, and he's just going to like not want to finish stuff if he like lingers and goes back and forth for too long. I feel like that could happen. I hope it doesn't, but like, I don't know, I feel like I'm being too negative, but I have to voice my concerns at this point, because like this section just feels kind of off. But that's really all my thoughts on this chapter. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. How do you feel? Do you have the same feelings that I do? Are you feeling kind of meh right now? Do you think the pacing and jumping back and forth is kind of ruining the enjoyment of this arc? What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And once more, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel, and shows you want to see more. Now with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.